Hello, my loves, and welcome to another beautiful feedback call. Today, we are inviting in a sister, Ricarda, who, when she started SEM, was really wanting to use her sexual energy, one, to come back into her power of who she chose for sexual partners, how she expressed herself, but two, to really channel that energy into manifesting work opportunities, jobs, abundance, really empowering her inner man to be in that powerful state so that she could begin to consciously communicate and connect with men from a healthy attachment style. So I'm super excited to welcome her into the space to go through her journey. And for you, if you're dropping in, this is going to be a powerful reflection from a woman who started off struggling financially and struggling with relationships and communication and all of that ickiness to her transformation. So stay tuned. It's a good one. So here we are, my love. Welcome to the space.
Hi.
Let's start just by dropping in. What is your name? Tell us a little bit about you and where you're at right now.
So I am Ricarda. I'm 27. I live in Bali since almost 3 years with my dog. And yeah, I work in sales and I love dogs.
The best star point to be at. But yeah, amazing. And for the girls who are watching in, Ricarda and I have a really special connection point because we actually knew each other when I lived in Bali. And it was a real soul sister connection. And I always love it because, like, SEM for me is a space where it's like sisters. And I've seen sisters from all over the world come in. So yeah, it was really precious having you in this most recent round. Um, and yeah, I'd love to drop into basically your journey as well. So, question I have, before you entered into SEM and you started the process, where were you in your life? What was coming up for you? What were your stick points?
So which month was that? Just to sum it up, how many months back are we going?
This was 3 months ago. So we're looking at like June, July this year.
Okay, amazing. So June, July, um, I have been already back into my previous profession that I did before having my own agency, which is sales. So I got back to that, but I did know that I was not living up to my fullest potential in terms of the working experience that I had and the work that I was doing. And I was definitely single as a Pringle. And I think my parents were just visiting me here in Bali, which is really nice and very beautiful to have them here. And yeah, that's where I definitely was. And I was definitely in a place where I was ready to make an investment for myself in terms of personal development. And I would say I've done many different courses if it comes to like dating, sex, personal development, whatsoever, life coaching. And for me, I did know that the next program that I'm going to invest in is going to be on a very energetical level and on a level that most coaches don't
Mm.
lead you by, right? That is not maybe written down in some books that the coaches are taught by and is a very different approach. But I knew that this is going to be the approach. And I also knew that back then when I met you, Emma, there's no many things that trigger me. And sometimes there were some aspects, even though like I love you so much, and that doesn't exclude one of the other, but there were some things where I'm like, ah, interesting. It's like it's doing something here. I'm like, that's very interesting. There's probably something within myself to look at, or something that she's doing or having that I want. And that's the only way that I'm gonna get this inspired by someone, or I'm gonna be open to be coached by, right? I want
Yeah.
to be somewhere where that person is, and then learn, see how that person has done it for themselves and how I can apply that to my life. So that's what definitely I was back then 3 months ago. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. I also love it when girls get on there like, I was triggered by you. I'm like, 10 times out of 10. But that's the most beautiful part. And also the way you can see a woman who's really ready to shift in her energy is when she leans into the triggers. Like, it's that point where it's like, this is triggering me, but I know there's something deeper. And it's also beautiful knowing you've done a lot of different courses and things that are for your personal development. And it was like the next step in a way for you to really get into your energy. Um, and yeah, single as a Pringle, love it.
Yeah.
Not living up to your fullest potential when it came to work. I know you'd shifted careers. There was like a lot of question marks around it. You were kind of refining yourself. Question I have is like, we're 11, 12 weeks into our journey. We're actually closing. This is our final call later today. Um, 12
It
weeks
went too fast. It went so fast. Crazy.
fucking flies every time. I'm like, let me ask you this. Where are you now when it comes to relationships, to work, to your sensuality, to the energetic shifts? What has come up? What has changed for you?
Okay. So it's almost unbelievably crazy how many upgrades and so many areas I have at the moment. Like this is not an underestimation of things, but on every single level. So I just got home from unpacking some things into my new place that I'm going to be moving in tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll be getting my final signatures done for my new job, which is basically the best job I've ever gotten in my whole life. Like, this is the best job offer, like responsibility wise, money wise. Like, they fly me across the world every couple of months. It's like, yes, girl, let's go, and that's what I wanted. And there's also like a man in my life, which is like, interesting. Let's see. But it's very much in the container of where I've been keeping myself in celibacy for the last 6 months. And I did not do it intentionally, I would say in the beginning, but at some point I was like, let's make this intentional. Yeah. So this is where I'm at, almost at 6 months being celibate. And got a new job, got a new place to live. Is there a new man in my life that I just already like haven't been dating or like seeing someone getting to know someone for quite a while. And this is super interesting for me to also consciously really see what is coming up for me and really observing it rather than just really fully being and living and pushing maybe away and just moving on how it used to be more. And I do see that way more clear now after having a bit of a distance. And in my opinion, because like all this energy that I've maybe directed more to maybe relationships and overthinking and men and whatsoever, and especially having not the same intentions and also putting my energy towards maybe not clear intentions, like the person in front of you doesn't want to have a serious relationship or they don't want to have monogamy, but you do. And it wasn't clear because this aspect of really conscious and clear and honest communication was not there as a foundation to build on. So it was really like going to like a dead end many times before. And now it feels definitely more clear. I'm definitely working still on it a lot within like being honest to myself and then also for the other person without being feared of losing or pinning it to the outcome that could potentially happen or not happen, right? And so basically by redirecting all that energy towards myself, life force energy, sexual energy, I think this is the reason why I've now finally manifested the dream job that I always wanted. And also I have put in the energy that was needed to get it. To really just like sit there and apply to as many things that feel aligned to you only as possible and just do it. And then I got this invitation. I didn't even know from which job this is. Like there were so many that I was applying to, but I'm like, I'm getting this, I'm getting this, I'm getting this. It's like no other way. And then, yeah, it's just really nice to see that the experience that I have and the price tag that I see on myself and what I'm worthy of is being seen and appreciated and also validated in terms of energy flow that's coming back to me in terms of money, what's the responsibilities. And this is, I would say, very nice for my ego.
It's like so important. Like a big thing I always teach is like we are egos and we're meant to shine our light, and that comes through us as a person being in our power and receiving what we're conditioned to receive and be excited and to be proud. But I get so excited about your journey as well because it's so huge, the shifts that happen. And thank you for sharing on like multiple levels. Because I think a lot of women, we don't realize how much our sensual and sexual and feminine energy actually contributes to our flow and our power for our man and for our inner woman. But I know as you're reflecting, it's like, yeah, dream home manifests, dream job manifests, finance manifests, man manifests, conscious communication with that, detaching from the outcome. All these things happen. And in a relatively short space of time, it's like such a big jump forward, but in a way that you're integrating it like so beautifully into your flow, into your body, into what feels good for you. A question I have on that is, what would you say are like the main practices or things that you got out of SEM that helped you get to that place?
100% being aware of my sexual energy and how I can redirect it just towards me.
Mm.
And yeah, that was like the main aspect for myself. And just also to worship my own energy way more and like going on solo dates, putting a schedule, a slot of this is a whole morning of just me time. This is not scheduled Pilates, gym, yoga, meeting up with friends, because this is like my whole schedule out during the week. And everything's like planned from A to Z, and I love it because
Mhm.
I haven't been like this. I would say years ago, like structured and feels good to have everything planned out. But then in the end of the day, I'm like, oh, where's the flow?
Mm.
Where can I just be and maybe even feel like, oh, what should I do with my time right now? I'm feeling bored. And this is such a luxury to have
Yeah.
to feel like, oh, what do I do? Like, for example, today I went for coffee and I got some coconut water and I didn't bring my phone. I was just sitting there. I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
Mm.
Like, this is really nice. And then only looking on my bike to know what time it is when I left the place. It was very liberating, not being always available and just taking these times out for myself. Definitely these two tools were the most important ones. And then it was definitely also very beautiful to see how other women were processing within their process in the SEM container. And to also know that you are being heard and seen and celebrated also by others. And it's not only me and you, it's also so many other people, which energies also flow into your intentions. And that is also way more powerful. And I just know for a fact that that can amplify way more things than having a one-on-one coaching. That is like for breakthrough things when you got a lot of shit to work on, maybe, but to really uplift it in a magnifying, big time intentional way in your life, you're gonna have more energy than I think yourself. So having a group container, I really liked, and I also preferred and it was nice to add on to my daily life. And
Yeah.
it was not like, oh God, I'm gonna have this one-on-one session and I'm probably gonna be out of my system for the next 2, 3 days because it was like I need this for like it was too crazy and too deep for me. I mean, I did have some shifts for myself, but it was more like what my intention was in the first place on that very energetical level, like
Mm.
unblocking something which was I'm probably not aware of,
Mm.
and really just uplifting and shifting life in so many areas. That was my intention with this coaching. So yeah, did
It's
it.
yeah, but so freaking powerful. Like one, the power of intention. I feel like at the beginning of SEM, I'm like, set the intentions because it's a powerful movement. And two, being in sisterhood, just to like reflect, but it's collective. It's being a part of a collective that grows us. And I remember like when you were going in for the job stuff and you were like, guys, pray for me. And everyone's like, we're praying, we're on it. And it's so exciting. Like also knowing we're not fucking insane. I remember when I was like starting my journey and I was like, am I insane? And then messaging all the girls and everyone's like, it's been intense this moon. And it's this like, okay, we're in our flow, but also yes, pillar one, become your lover, setting out intentional times, being in the feminine when often we can be so masculine, and just experiencing the space and the freedom and the peace. I think a lot of women, at least when they come into my space, like, I want to feel peace, I want to feel free, I want to feel space, I want to feel soft. And there are ways that we actually get to cultivate that and live that and be that. And it's beautiful to hear that is come into your journey as well. And it's just created so much space for all the goodness to land. Um, Let me ask you another question. I love this. Another question. Was there anything that nearly prevented you or stopped you from wanting to join in to SEM?
Yeah, I think the main aspect for me was the financial aspect at that moment, because I had a lot of things to invest at that point. I was just starting off a new freelance project and I didn't know where things are going to go and land, but I really wanted to take and hop on this second round of SEM. And I was feeling like big time FOMO of myself, of not having the benefits of like, yeah, like if you're not gonna do this, like you're gonna regret this, Ricarda. Like not because this is not gonna happen again, but it just felt like this is my timing. Like this, I gotta make this happen. I gotta make this happen. So then the investment then did work out, and
Yeah.
everything worked out like last minute, last minute. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Let's go. Let's do this. And it was really good to find also like solutions on how and yeah, it was then all working out for me. And I think that could have also maybe have to do something with some of the maybe energetical blockages within money, to see that you're investing to yourself and automatically money, energy, the flow will shift because something will then come back to you, because you're investing and giving out, something will come back to you as well. And I think in the end of the day, you are your biggest investment. And if you invest in yourself, nobody can ever take that away from you, right? It's not like you're investing into crypto. This can be less or more at some point, right? But within yourself, there's nothing to measure that and nobody can ever take that away. And I think, yeah, I think it's also making more out of this lifetime that you are here. And I was really trying to see the bigger picture at that point when I just saw this as my issue for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, also thank you for like sharing this because I know like for a lot of women coming into the space, investment in money is a thing. Like I also was there when I started my journey and I was like, damn, like it's a lot. And what you said, and that was also the turn point for me, is like when you invest into yourself, you open up your field to receive back. And it's so beautiful hearing your journey. Like literally, it was like 10 weeks in where it was like dream job, biggest pay, everything's happening. And I was like, because it does, like energy brings energy, but it does take that leap of faith at the beginning. And it's so important that we discuss these things. And a lot of women say they're like, oh, it was an investment. And that was like such a, but also how your energy brings a change. And I'm so grateful you share that because for other women, whether they invest into this container or they are hesitating about just investing into themselves, it is the turn point because money is such a big thing for us in this matrix system. Um, on that topic, what was it that actually made you pull the trigger and just sign in?
Mm, I think because I got to know you like, I don't know, 2.5 years ago here in Bali. And I know where we were. I know what you were doing. I know what I was doing. And I know where you are right now and what you're doing. And I'm like, well, like I could have done the same thing in the same amount of time. Like, girl, where are you at? And I'm like, okay, I gotta learn from this woman. And this is how I function in general. I'm very efficient. So I'm like, I'm only gonna learn from the people that are there where I want to be and want to go to. I'm not gonna learn from anyone, sorry to say, but if they're making less money than me, if they're having like not the man of their dreams, if they're not like living their purpose, why do I want to learn from them? It's like really harsh, but that's how I just function and
I'm
think.
the
Because otherwise,
same.
how should I upgrade, when they are not maybe there where they want to be, right? And it's not going to be an energetical match and where I'm coming to, it's going to be like, you know?
Yeah.
So that was definitely the reason it was you. That was the reason for me to sign, because I knew that the journey that you went through, I'm ready for it. Let's go. And full speed, you know? And yeah.
Yes. But I also love that. I love that so much because something I always like wanted to be in this world for the women who come into my field is to know it's not like, oh, some special person who's holier than thou. And so it's someone who's really like, we can, wherever we start from, we can get to where we want to go. And like, to be and create those spaces and be like, fuck yes, like be triggered, go through your process, but there's actually a method. And it's so beautiful if you've known me and seen parts of my journey to be like, it gets to happen. And it really does. It's just a method. And it's a method that I figured out when I was like in the shittest of the shit to like building myself to where I am now. And yeah, I'm grateful that you say that because it's something I always want every woman to know is like it's possible. There is a method to it that I believe creates quite fast, big, incredible shifts for women, but it's possible for all of us. Like it's there if you're willing to be the action taker and the woman who's like, fuck yes, who's not afraid to lean in like you, and to then get the outcomes that you're desiring where you raise your inner vibration and your inner energy. So yeah, so amazing, so good. Um, okay, final question. For the people in the back,
Yeah.
um, what would you honestly say to someone who's thinking about joining?
Hmm. Okay, I just want to add one more sentence to the question before.
Yes.
So you're the perfect combination of like a businesswoman and someone who's like really embodying central spirituality for me, you know? And that was also very important. And you're doing Kundalini activation sessions. Like you are have learned all these tools where I'm getting into way, way more for myself as well. Where I'm like, yeah, this is very aligned, you know, because I also see myself as very much in the materialistic business world where I love to get stuff done and to move numbers, but I also love to be this embodied feminine, sensual goddess queen and be both. You know, there's no either or. And I really saw you embodying this, and I'm like, yes, girl, let's go. Okay, that's what I wanted to add. It was more than one
That's
sentence.
such a good because it's true. I also think, like, a side note, such a good point is a
Yeah.
lot of women think they either need to be this sensual, flowy feminine or they're like super hyper masculine and just boss babe energy. And I personally, that's why we teach like inner man, inner woman. There's both, and you get to have both, and you get to find your balance, and then you get to create, and it becomes a very juicy journey. And
Mhm.
that block and shifting it inside a woman, I really think is the secret sauce for all of us. Like when we can be both and we can fucking be the man we need to and make bank, but we can also be the feminine and the flow and consciously communicate and attract. And it's so empowering because you know, whichever seat you're in, you got the driver. It's like, yep, I got this. So yes, thank you for sharing this. And I'm so excited that you have your secret sauce and you're on it where you're in your flow, but also like boss baiting and really bringing it in. It's amazing. It's so good. Okay, okay. So after our little
Last
interlude,
question.
final question for the people in the back.
Yes.
If you had to speak to someone who was thinking of joining, what would you honestly say to them?
I think the questions that you asked are a really nice journey. Like, where are you right now? Where do you want to be? What are you doing to get there? Who's on that journey with you? And how do you think is going to be the best way for you to elevate to that level where you want to be, you know? And what tools do you need to do that? Are these within all your own capacity? Are you aware of all these tools yourself? And I think to just really go very blankly honest into these questions of yes and no, you
Mm,
know, and just be very clear and just impulsive with these questions and just thinking, okay, like what are your goals in life? Where do you see yourself in 2 years, in 5 years? How are you going to get there? What's your game plan? And yeah, I think to just use tools on the side to elevate yourself onto that level in a very efficient way, I would say, because I love it to be efficient. Um, why not? Like, why? I don't know why, but I think sometimes as women, we are not aware of the potential that, or just I think in general, people are not aware of the potential that we could be living
mm,
and maybe see themselves at a bit of a victim of our surroundings, but in reality, it's more of ourselves. And it's easy to blame it on where we grew up, on parents and friends and job, on the offers that you may be thinking you only have. But I think there's way more out there than just to look this way. And there's so many more options and limitations to unblock and just leave behind you. And like I really like to also ask my friends sometimes, like, if there was like nothing holding you back, there's like nothing is limited, what would you do? Where would you be? Who were you with? You know, and then they're like, oh no, 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 no. Like they're very humble. I'm like, no, like dream big, like add three zeros onto the monthly salary you want, like dream fucking big, you know? Just go for it. Doesn't mean that you are gonna be there, but you gotta just be towards drifting towards the energy, you know, where it's gonna match your self-worth and your self-love. And yeah, and I think yeah, like for me, just really reflecting on where are you right now in your life and which areas do you think there is more potential to it,
Yeah.
and what are you doing to optimize these areas in your life? And yeah, just basically to be very realistic with yourself, and maybe there are like topics in your life where you're like, yeah, this has definitely been a topic for many years, or yeah, it's difficult to talk about it, or I don't talk about it at all. Well, sorry to say, but where are you going to get with that mindset? Like, I am a big believer of if you keep some emotions in, or you suppress them, or you don't let energies flow, this will manifest into something in your body which is not going to be feeling good at some point.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to work not only on a physical aspect on your body, but also really on the mental aspect. Like I'm having my dream body right now. And this is really has to do with me putting in and getting knowledge on how my biology really works, and like changing my diet to it, but not in a way of limiting myself or like eating less or whatsoever. Like no. And I'm doing what is according to my cycle, the perfect exercise, the perfect, not perfect, but what feels best in line with myself, and then underlining it with knowledge of like, that's why I'm doing it, you
Yeah.
know? And then by that, I'm really seeing how amazingly good my hormones are in sync with the moon has been, but even better, my PMS is like zoop. And to see these things, I'm like, yeah, I'm living like a fucking superwoman, girl. It's like, you know, like this is great. Let's go. And yeah, I definitely also like see the aspect of stress that I've minimized for myself. And people are like telling this to me. I'm like, oh, you look this way, blah, blah, and look that way. I'm like, oh, interesting that people are perceiving me that way and communicating that with me, which is not important to me, relevant to me, but it's like a reflection of myself and a mirror of myself. And also people have told me you're way more strict with your own boundaries.
Hmm.
Like so much more strict, and not in a meditative way, but like a really positive, empowering way where I like people tell me I'm learning from you right now, like that I don't allow this energy into my life because it's not aligning with my intentions. And you're really good at that. I'm like, thank you so much. That's like a really big compliment. Like from my ex people pleaser, like to being able to say no to really good friends of mine, where I'm like, no, this is the way where you can meet. This is the intention. This is how on a date. This is a no, a harsh no. And nothing else will then surpass the energy and come towards me than just what is aligned with my intentions. And it just feels fucking empowering great because everything comes also into my system that is aligning with my frequency. And it doesn't feel like I'm stuck in this loop
Mm.
of judging always the same men. I'm like, what the fuck? I had this definitely this phase in my life before, and now it's just, yeah, of course he's meeting me on this level of communication and my love languages, and he's aware of so many things where I'm like, yeah, I don't have to teach. Yes, he knows, you know, like it's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
We're also open, like we're open and feels good. Feels
Yeah.
good.
So good. And I love it too because like it's so important. Like a lot of women are just they think we're always going to be stuck in the loop of like having to be the teacher and this and that with a man. And we think we're stuck in the loop with our bodies and we think we're stuck in the loop with our jobs and income. And we get stuck in our cycle. And exactly what you said, like you become superwoman. Like it's like, I got it, I'm in flow, I've got my dream body, I've opened up, I'm attracting conscious men. There's so many shifts, money, job, home, it all comes together. And yeah, as we sort of start to close this portal for the girls who are listening, I think you can take Ricarda's journey as such a powerful witnessing of trusting your intuition, trusting in investments, trusting in the things that feel scary and like fuck, but also know like down the line, like 12 weeks for us, it's hormonal flow, it's dream body, it's dream job came, it's conscious men who are not the stuck in the loop men. It's a whole different level. It's a whole new way of being. And not to mention, and I think this is my favorite part, is you've set inner boundaries that not only are supporting you, they're helping others around you elevate too. And I think you can really see a powerful woman who's embodied in her sensual energy when the people around you are leveling up too and feel safe to do it. It's like, and yeah, just to say, babe, I'm so proud of your journey. I get like emotional because I'm like, it's so fucking epic. And you're shining your light and you're walking that walk. And it's amazing. So thank you for being in this space and thank you for sharing all of the things. I have like a page of notes written down where I'm like, oh my God, yes. But incredible. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma, for holding this container and really, yeah, showing me what else possible there is. You know, really, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything. And it's almost weird that this is coming to an end. It's weird. Oh, but
But
I'll see you then probably soon today for our final call.
final call. I know we will chat in about an hour, but I love you and thank you for being here in this space, baby.
Thank you. I love you too.